This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
We'll have high school basketball playoff style on the air for you tonight as Liberty Cooper is still playing. They will be in action tonight at 7. They take on Glen Cove in Stanford.
I think it's Glen Rose.
Glen Rose, okay. They'll take on them too. So 7 o'clock tonight on 93.1 Yes FM. As that's good. I mean, they keep winning. You get to keep playing, right?
Well, that's the boys. That's their first playoff game.
Okay, so you keep winning. You keep playing.
Yes, correct.
you still get to do that.
Yes, you do.
This is Class 4A Division II. All right. The early game for that matchup will be Leveland and Brock. They'll play at 6 o'clock tonight at Stanford, and then the Liberty boys will take on Glen Rose at 7:30 tonight. And again, we'll have that game for you on 93.1 Yes FM. We'll also have High School Fan Zone on the air for you tonight. Coaches from Coronado, Estacado, Lubbock High, and Monterey will be in attendance tonight from 6 until 7. And speaking of Friendship, that High School Fan Zone will be on Wednesday, but the Friendship boys will be in action tomorrow. They'll play El Paso Coronado at 2 in Fort Stockton. So really long place to go and a really hard time to get there. So we will have our microphones there for you tomorrow at 2 o'clock when Friendship takes on El Paso Coronado in Fort Stockton. That'll be at 2 o'clock tomorrow. On Double T 97.3. And then the Friendship girls will be in action on Tuesday as they take on Denton Geyer, and that'll be at 7:30 in Abilene, and we'll have that game for you as well. So keep tuned as we'll have both the Friendship boys and girls playing tomorrow on Double T 97.3. So should be well, maybe the girls are going to be on Sunny 97.7. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. So the girls will be on Sunny 97.7 tomorrow night because we'll have Texas Tech basketball. Yeah. Okay. Just trying to follow along here as best I can. And but we'll have plenty of hoops for you. And other games as far as the boys, Lubbock Cooper will take on Abilene Wiley. That'll be tomorrow at 6:30 from Snyder. And then and
we'll have that one on 100.7 The Score.
Okay, and that'll be on, like you said, 100.7 The Score. That'll be tomorrow at 7:30. Yep, 7:30. So that'll be fun. And it's just it's that time of year. Estacado plays Graham tonight. They'll play at Abilene Christian. That'll be at 7 o'clock this evening. So lots of boys activities. Shallow Waters meeting Dalhart tonight at 6. And Brownfield and Kermit play tomorrow night at 7:30 in Andrews. So for the girls, it's going to start heating up, right? Because as you told me,
3 rounds deep, it feels like it already has.
Yeah, I mean, Friendship escaped with a 1-point win last week, and now they get the number 1 team in the state, right?
That is correct.
So you beat them, and then you feel really good, right?
Let's see it happen.
Take one game at a time. This tomorrow night, the New Home boys are playing against Lockney at Roosevelt. Okay, all right, that'll be great
Go
too.
New Home.
Somebody says this, and I wanted to get your opinion on this. I disagree. They say because he's probably both. Mac McClung is not a Red Raider; he's a Hoya. Just like Jalen Hurts is Roll Tide and not a land thief. I mean, look, you're just going to have to accept the fact that these players are playing for lots of different schools. Where they end up and maybe where they have their most success might be two different things. Because Terrence Shannon Jr., he played here for 3 years and went to Illinois, played there 2 years, and they hung his banner. Now, they finally got it right side up, but they hung a banner for him.
One of the oddest things ever in college sports. Him having his jersey retired at Illinois.
Yeah. I was trying to think. I'd have to go back and look at Illinois basketball history, okay, because it's not something I've really followed. But I would have to think that there's probably been some people that have played there for 4 years plus. They kind of look at that and scratch their head and go, he's getting his banner up there and I don't have mine. Or this guy doesn't have his.
I mean, does it not to everybody else? I mean, I'll just speak for myself. Look like he got his jersey retired because they feel bad about the wrongful accusations that came his way?
I didn't have that thought, to be honest with you. My thought was you played there 2 years and you get your banner hung. That was kind of my thought. It's like, did you do enough in 2 years?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I mean, he played there for 2 years and he was good.
Yeah.
But I mean, they didn't win back-to-back national championships or anything.
Or even like one.
Yes, correct.
Just even sniff at it.
So why would they retire his jersey?
I don't know. I mean, I would hate to think that's what you said is a reason, or even went into the thought process that because he was wrongfully accused, he gets his jersey hung.
It's really odd, man.
It is really odd. It is really odd. But Mac McClung, I think he's embraced his time here, and people have embraced his time here, and you're not going to hang a banner for him, but he's a 3-time NBA dunk champion now after the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily. I'm kind of somewhere in the middle of where the texter is and where you are, as far as it's hard. I'm just going to tell you, I root harder. I feel like I have more rooting interest once they leave and move on to the next level for the guys that were here a few years and that started here and all that good stuff that stayed and all that. It's just a different feeling to me. So, and somebody on the chat line said, well, Michael Crabtree only played here 2 years, except that was the only place he played in college.
Right.
He didn't leave here to go somewhere else.
Right.
Okay. Now, do we have a little compassion for a guy like Terrence Shannon who, seemed like he had a mess of a coach? Okay.
As it turned out, yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely I do. And so that changes the feeling a little bit, no question. But I don't know. I mean, I consider Mac McClung, a guy that spent a year here playing for the Red Raiders and then elected to leave early. I mean, he could have stayed for more. But he's not the same to me as Keenan Evans. It feels different.
And then, so then let me ask you this. So you've got Keenan Evans on one hand, and then maybe Matt Mooney closer to the Keenan Evans side, and then Mac McClung a little bit different just because he was only here a year. Is that fair?
Well, Matt Mooney was only here a year too, but he only had 1 year of eligibility. Yeah.
But I mean, it kind of feels like Matt Mooney has really he's come back and done an awful lot of work here and things like that in camps.
Absolutely. McClung's done camps here too, though.
Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Time for this day in sports history. Today is Monday, February the 17th. Here's Jeff McGuire with this day in sports history.
Starting in 1943, New York Yankee Joe DiMaggio enlists in the U.S. Army. Wonder what it would take today to have the stars of the NFL, Major League Baseball, NBA, whatever, to all sign up for the military like happened with baseball for World War II.
Probably a draft.
These guys signed up. They weren't drafted.
That's true.
They volunteered the prime of their career to go fight Germany and Japan in World War II.
Probably a lot.
Honest to God heroes. 1964.
No
101st member elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame. Chicago White Sox shortstop Luke Appling. 1974, 16th Daytona 500. Richard Petty's his first driver to win back-to-back titles at Daytona. It was his fifth Great American Race win. 1985, in the 27th Daytona 500, after taking the pole and then record speed of 205.114 miles per hour, still slower than Chuck's Pinewood Derby car, Bill Elliott dominates the race, leading 136 of 200 laps.
Way to go.
1995, Tiger manager Sparky Anderson takes an unpaid leave due to the baseball strike. And in 2024, the number 21 Texas Tech baseball team downed former Big 12 foe Nebraska 6-3. Ryan Free, who pitched 2 2/3 masterful innings as the Southpaw scratched just 2 hits and stranded the go-ahead runners in scoring position in the 6th, 7th, and 8th innings. It is National Indian Pudding Day. It's a baked custard with milk, butter, molasses, eggs, spices, and cornmeal.
I think I've had this before. I think it's okay.
I would try it. It's got a lot of my favorite words in it.
Okay.
I would guess Jeff has a lot of favorite words.
Molasses?
When it comes to food, yeah. I got a lot of favorite words when it comes to food. Happy birthday to His Airness. Michael Jordan is 62. Ed Sheridan, 34. Paris Hilton, 44. Bonnie Wright, 34. Billy Joe Armstrong from Green Day is 53. Joseph Gordon-Levitt is 44. Denise Richards, 54. Larry the Cable Guy, 62. Michael Bay, 60. Madison Keys is 30. Jerry O'Connell, 51. And Brian Cox can't wait to be 57.
Wow. That's a star of stars there.
It was a lot of them today, yes. Most of those were all on the first page. And on this...
I don't think Brian Cox was the can't wait guy.
Wasn't he with the Jets at that point? And did it then? I swear it was him.
Bart Scott.
Dang it. Well.
Strike 4!
No, that's just my one.
That's his one. You know.
I'm going to know about it.
We're a team here, guys. We got to put the ball in play every once in a while.
Like spirited this morning.
And in 1801, who was our first president?
George Washington.
Who was second?
Thomas Jefferson.
No. John Adams.
John Adams, okay.
He was also our first vice president. Now, this was a quiz. You didn't know this answer.
Okay.
Who was our third president?
TJ.
Thomas Jefferson, elected third president of the United States. Election constitutes the first peaceful transfer of power from one political party to another in the United States. And that is This Day in Sports History.
This Day in Sports History, 6:49. Next year, on February the 16th, you'll be doing the Daytona 500 again back-to-back because William Bryan went back-to-back in the Daytona 500. I watched none of it, and usually I see at least the start and the end, but I was having a mental health day yesterday. I just kind of vegged out yesterday. I just kind of needed a day just to kind of totally unplug, and so I didn't see any of it. But he goes from 9th to 1st on the final lap. William Bryan did, and won the 67th annual Daytona 500, becoming the 5th driver to go back-to-back with Daytona 500s, joining Richard Petty, who did it on this day in 1964, Cale Yarborough, Sterling Martin, and Denny Hamlin. He capitalized, according to this article, on a crash between Denny Hamlin and Austin Cindric. Was there a point in time, there was a point in time you were kind of a NASCAR guy, right?
Absolutely.
And it's kind of gotten to the point where it's like golfers. There's a lot of new names, a lot of new names, and so I know who Denny Hamlin is, and I know who a lot of these other guys, Sterling Martin, but I don't know Mr. Bryan. I don't. That's not a familiar name for me, but probably should be since he went back to back, winning the Daytona 500. So. He goes first. Tyler Reddick goes second. Jimmy Johnson goes third. Probably if I was rooting for someone in this, I would have been rooting for Jimmy Johnson.
Okay.
Just because he's the most familiar name to me of the guys in the top 10. But, it's not like I was a big NASCAR guy. I would watch it every once in a while. I'm more of an Indy 500 guy. Now, Indy 500 is not necessarily appointment television for the full 2 hours and 46 minutes or whatever it takes them to go 500 miles, but I do have a tendency to prefer the IndyCar over the NASCAR. But at any rate.
Yeah, I would take NASCAR over the open wheel stuff.
Okay, all right. Yeah. Robert says this, the NBA dunk contest needs to go away and needs to be revamped. Mac McClung was a ball hog and was one reason for a down season while he was here. Wow. This
I think the ball did kind of stick in his hands. It felt like there was a lot of dribbling going on.
A lot of dribbling. I remember that you had that criticism. Yeah.
Let's move the ball and rotate the ball, kind of like this year's team does.
Yeah. No. I mean, somebody made that point, and this person said Tech basketball team looked great, enjoyed watching them pass the ball to each other, and that's what makes a team win. And you responded to that. Because I think you have said that all season long.
All season long, it felt like the way they share the ball is the reason that they're so good on offense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How do you feel about the NBA dunk contest? Does it need to be revamped, or does it need to have NBA players in it?
I really don't have an opinion. I don't.
You don't care one way or the other.
Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah.
I didn't watch any of it, so.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I was doing something else Saturday night.
It got unfun to me when the superstars stopped wanting to compete in it.
Yeah.
And they too cool to compete for the dunk contest. I mean, back in the day when it was, MJ and Neek and, guys like that were really good and that were great players as well, that was fun.
Yeah.
But when it became it's uncool to compete in the dunk contest, it became not good.
How about even uncool to compete in the All-Star game or uncool to play defense in the All-Star? I mean, the All-Star game, for me, the NBA All-Star game used to be much-watched TV, but it's not been must-watch for many, many years for me.
Yeah, when I was watching the NBA, it was much must-watch, but when... when we decided to take a day off in the middle of the playoffs there in 2020, NBA as a whole became not the opposite of must-watch for me.
And this business of like playing to 40, I mean, I just play the game, man. Just play
trying to do something different, trying to drum up some interest. I get it. Whatever. I mean, I would love to. I don't know about love. That's probably a strong word, but I wonder what the true diehard NBA fan maybe they thought that was fun.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I said, I probably would get bored of their answer after about 15 or 20 seconds if I asked the question.
That long?
Yeah.
Take you that long?
Yeah.
Somebody says this. I watched absolutely none of the NBA All-Star Weekend. I am with you on that. Yeah, I watched none of that too. Just before 7 this morning here on the Morning Drive, continue to take your thoughts, comments. Hey, if you have anything that happened over the weekend that you want to share, whether it was, tossing babies in the air worthy or... got you down in the dumps, and you want to just cry on our shoulder, we're here. Got big shoulders. Go ahead or tell us your celebrations. Take that as well in the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Go to the Double T 97.3 mobile app. It is presented by Happy State Bank.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Good morning with Jamie Lent and Jeff McGuire. I'm Chuck Heinz. We get this from Racer 26, Jamie, off the Yates Flooring Center chat line. He went bowling with Junior and shot 246. The rest of the games have pretty much sucked it up, but 246, that's impressive.
It really is.
I don't know how close he was to a 300, but...
I just wonder where that first non-strike came.
Yeah. This went to a NASCAR race in Fort Worth once. Saw things I've never seen before, nor do I want to see again. It was definitely not PG-13.
No, it's not.
Okay.
Especially in the infield at night.
This from the Yates Flooring Center chat line. I don't... I guess technically it equals, but you don't necessarily walk away from this baseball series with North Carolina down in the dumps. I mean, you lost 3, but this person says, now, is this one of the worst starts for Tech baseball? I mean, you lost 3 straight, a couple years ago in Houston or...
I think in one of those Arlington ones you went 0-3.
0-3.
You blew a couple leads. I don't know what the worst, technically, and how many is the worst in Tech baseball history. I'm not sure the answer to that question. Going 0-3 was definitely not ideal by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, I guess you could be 3-0 if you stayed home and played. I mean, some terrible team and
Incarnate Word or somebody like that was available.
Yeah, I mean, it's just in baseball, it's different. You schedule different. Mm-hmm. your football team is not going to schedule 3 top 10 teams to start their season in non-conference play. You just don't do that, right? And basketball, you don't really schedule anybody tough in non-conference play pretty much for a few weeks.
Maybe not till Thanksgiving, actually.
Yeah, a few weeks, and then you might play 1 or 2 ranked teams by the time you get to conference play. Mm-hmm. Okay. And you also don't go play on the road.
Right. Yeah,
okay.
Right.
So you went on the road and you played a top 10 team that looks every bit the part of a top 10 team. There's definitely some flaws that were exposed, and we're hoping that those were just a weekend here or there kind of flaws and not who you are. But that's yet to be determined.
Yeah, you got to prove that you're not, right?
Yeah, don't know. Can't say for certain that that's who you are, and can't say for certain that that's not going to happen the rest of the year. Just don't know. But so you got to kind of wait a little bit. But I mean, the question in face value is 0-3 the worst start ever. I don't know if it is or not. To be completely honest with you, I don't know what the most number of games that it took you to win your first game was. And I'm telling you, the team that you're going to play this weekend in UC Irvine, this is not a get right series.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, they're good. They're ranked in the top 25. They are. I mean, they're going to challenge you. So don't think like, oh man, okay, we'll come back home, we'll pound the old anteaters and we'll get right. I mean, I'm not saying that they're number 6 on the road, but they're good.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to play well to escape there with a series victory.
Hey, let me, because you talked about the pitching this past weekend and how you were impressed with what you saw and felt good about what you saw, but from a hitting standpoint, you had some good performances from some individuals. Not enough, but TJ Pompey. I mean, he blasted the ball, had a couple of home runs.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I mean, you don't just because of the defensive struggles, you don't come out of the weekend, tooting his horn, so to speak. But at the plate, he had 3 hits on the weekend, and he did homer twice, and that was impressive. And both of them, man, they were absolutely crushed. I would say Damian Bravo is probably the guy that you felt the best about for the weekend, who went 4 for 11 and had both of your hits with runners in scoring position. And somewhat disappointing to have to say that, right? Mm-hmm. You had both of them because you need more than both in a weekend, So you had Sun. I mean, I felt good about the 2 guys at the top of the lineup, the 2 newcomers, and Sabateri and Thompson. Felt like as the series went along, you could see them settle in, and I think they're going to wreak a lot of havoc at the top of the lineup for the Red Raiders, and that's fun for me because you're kind of manufacturing runs and finding different ways to win. But I thought Logan Hughes, another newcomer, he had a rough go of it, but man, it felt like he only had one hit, but I felt like there were 3 others that, I mean, he was robbed of a home run. He hit a line drive that was crushed right at the left fielder, and then he, on the ground, one that he hit extremely hard, but right at the second baseman. So I thought he had a kind of a tough luck weekend. There was some good stuff in there. I was a little surprised you didn't get more out of the first base position. Villeneuve in game 1 did have a hit and walked a couple of times, so that was good. But he and Schultz came in as actually he was a DH, but I still consider him a first baseman. He went 0 for 5 and struck out 4 times, so I was really surprised because he looks like the guy of those 2 that I felt like was going to be the more put the ball in play and not have as much swing and miss. But Villeneuve swung it a little bit better than Schultz. So I think you're going to get a lot more out of those 2 than you got this weekend.
Villeneuve, that's the kind of one of the oddest pronunciations of a word that looks like it should be Villanueva, but it's not. It's Villeneuve.
Yeah, there's a bunch of different ways you could go with that one. Yeah, but it's just Villeneuve.
Villeneuve.
VILL-NEV. Villeneuve.
And his dad was a roller derby.
Yeah, professional roller derby guy.
In Canada?
And he's from Quebec.
Quebec.
Yes.
Was he the jammer or was he the...
I don't know the answer.
Did you ever watch any of that? Did you ever watch any of the Los Angeles Thunderbirds?
No.
when they were on TV.
Seen it in like 80s movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Los Angeles T-Birds, and they had a men's team and a women's team, but they would show these on the independent channels, and you had the jammer and you had the enforcer and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, it was, and then they had the announcer. His name was Bill Hoppy Hop, and I loved him. I love Bill Hoppy Hop. He would be down there in the infield with interviews and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so, but the Los Angeles T-Birds, it was like they were the one team that everybody would play against. The Baltimore whatevers and the this and that, but the Los Angeles T-Birds.
Oh, Chuck Hoppy Hop.
Bill Hoppy Hop was the announcer.
And you scored when you got your first person past everybody, right?
Yeah, right.
That's how the score, right. That's how the idea was.
Right.
Slingshot him around.
Right. And then
the people at the back would, elbow him over.
Into the boards and whatnot. And, they had all kinds of... There's always controversy if it was a flagrant foul or something along
they were all flagrant. Yeah. Let's make this clear. They were all flagrant. But those people would be arrested today for what
when I heard you talking about that, I was like, I immediately wanted to go, did he ever play against the Los Angeles T-Birds? So when you see his dad, Mr. Villeneuve, go, hey, when you played, did you guys ever play the T-Birds in Los Angeles? Where'd you guys play?
Okay, well, if I see him, I don't usually talk with as many parents as you do, but
okay.
If I happen to find out he introduces himself to me, I'll ask him.
Okay.
Jamie, nobody talks to as many parents, not even coaches, than Chuck does.
Well aware.
Because Chuck does it across sports. Football generally just talk to the football parents.
Well, I see him after the game, when I'm coming out, I see him just have...
I'm not sure I could tell you what one single parent looks like on any of our sports teams.
Well... That's what you get with me. I mean,
this is true.
You get sometimes you get a little what you don't expect, right? And what you expect from me, sometimes you just don't get.
This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Jamie's question of the day on Double T 97.3 is brought to you by Connecticut of West Texas.
All right, gentlemen, pretty simple, straightforward question for you today involving your Red Raider men's basketball team.
Mm-hmm.
Which member of the team do you feel like will be the best pro?
The best pro.
JT Toppin.
Yeah, but at this point in time, I don't know that you've got a first-round draft choice on your team. So
I think he's starting to be in that conversation.
I think I've heard rumors of him being middle of the first round kind of guy.
Okay, and I've heard second round and maybe late first. I've heard it may be more.
He's putting up numbers like Kevin Durant put up numbers in the Big 12. And he's got the measurables. He's got the play style. He's going to get a chance. And I think that chance could be a long and extended one.
Here's my question. My question is, at the end of this year, if he's not projected to be mid to late first round, all right, where he could fall into the second, would he be better off just from a financial standpoint coming back here and playing another year?
I don't think that's a question.
Because the answer is yes on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean...
He's going to get paid more here, most likely, than if he's a second-round pick.
I think Christian Anderson is a guy too, or maybe even Chance McMillan is a guy too that could see some time. But that's probably about it.
Okay, I think Darian Williams, absolutely, he's my answer.
He's your answer. Okay,
he is my answer. I think Darian Williams is a guy that. Can score at all three levels. He handles the ball well. He's a good defender, kind of a point forward kind of guy. I don't see it. He's not like explosive, but can score with his back to the basket. I absolutely think he's got a chance. I mean, PJ Tucker, I think is a similar build player who played for the Longhorns a bunch of years ago. He's still in the league.
Yeah.
Okay. And I kind of feel like scoring-wise, I think Darian's a better offensive player than Tucker. PJ may be a little bit more known for his defense, but yeah, I think Darian Williams has a great chance to make it in the NBA. And I do believe Christian Anderson has a shot as well. With Chance McMillan, Chance is a fifth-year guy.
Yeah, so too far for him?
Well, I'm not saying it's too far for him. I'm not saying he doesn't have a shot. I just, I know that the upside, you kind of got what you got with him, which is really good right now. Yeah. Really good.
Yeah, could he be some kind of
if
role player or whatever?
Yeah, I mean, he could come in and help somebody immediately. It's not like, well, he's missed his prime. I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
I just think Christian Anderson's going to keep getting better and better and better and better. Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be shocked to see all four of those guys play in the NBA at some point.
And then, I've got to admit to you, like, okay, what is a good NBA player anymore when I don't watch the NBA?
Okay.
I mean, just being truthfully honest, I mean, it's like, I watched, a ton of college basketball, and then you look at the NBA rosters, and they're filled with guys that play in Slovenia and Czechoslovakia and, Croatia and, other places, not in Lubbock or East Lansing.
I think the large majority is still American players, Chuck. So I don't know that the rosters are filled with.
Filled with? Just feels like. I mean, it feels like when you watch the draft, it's like.
It feels like every team has a couple foreign players.
And I'm not even against it. I'm just saying.
On average, but still, that's just 2 or 3 guys on any 14-player team. That's not filled.
Okay. That might be just a
sprinkled in.
A bit of an embellishment,
Yeah.
A bit of an overplay, but it does kind of baffle me sometimes when I see some of these guys that play at what we think are elite levels for blue blood type teams or teams that have long runs in the NCAA tournament, and then they're virtually nothing in the NBA.
Yeah. So, I mean, clearly for JT Toppin, he's got to keep working on the outside game, right? He's got to bulk up a little bit to be a dominant player at the next level. But obviously he has the quickness. He plays hard all the time. And his outside shot's not terrible by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, it just doesn't take a whole lot of them.
Just doesn't take a whole lot of them. So, but
doesn't have to.
Yeah, no, he knows where his bread is buttered, and that's in the paint.
Sure, and they're getting the ball to him. I mean, when you're 12 of 17, there's no reason to step outside and go, hey, I think I'm going to lift one from here. What about our 7-footer, Federico? He's a project, but, I mean, if you put some weight on him, could he be a guy that could be or is he a guy go over and play in Europe and make a bunch of money? And
I don't think he needs any more weight. He's not. I don't think he's frail. But, I just don't think there's that big of an offensive upside.
Yeah, you're probably
at the next level.
You're probably right about that.
Again, as we've talked about, he may be averaging 6 points a game, but there are not many times he's getting the ball on the wing and he's going with a crossover spin, hitting a teardrop in the lane. Yeah. It's catch dunk.
He played a grand total of 18 minutes and had none points and 2 rebounds and took 1 shot, and he missed it.
Yeah, and he's a role player, and he knows his role, and he does it well, and I appreciate that. Blocks shots, changes shots, he rebounds, and he scores around the basket. But, again, I don't know that translates to an NBA player.
He'll probably be a European player, overseas player, go over there and make some nice money. Because, I mean, I got to think, if you're 7 foot and you're not playing pro basketball, do you kind of feel like wasted opportunity?
Unless you like volleyball.
Yeah, but I mean, how much do those guys make?
What if he's a really good banker? He's really good with money.
What if he could sell the heck out of radio advertising?
Sure, we'd take him.
See,
we'd find a place for him to sit.
We will with some.
Give him a phone. Give him some. Whatever it takes, load him up with some materials and send him out.
Sit him in there with Rick and the boys.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I mean, let's not punish the guy for something that he hasn't done anything wrong yet.
Probably have to get a.
I crack up usually I think it's every Monday, Jeff, that we'll walk out of our portion of the office and I'll hear Chuck holding court down there in the sales room, doing his own little radio talk show in there to the salespeople. That's a group that loves to talk.
Well, I mean, you're supposed to listen too. You know?
That's a group that loves to talk.
Yeah, we need to have our listening ears on a little bit better too. Will we see Cheerful Chuck or Grumpy Chuck this week? Cheerful Chuck. You're going to have Cheerful Chuck this week.
Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Morning with Jamie Lent and Jeff McGuire. I'm Chuck Heinz. It's great to have you with us today on the Morning Drive. Come to you from the First United Bank studio here in downtown Lubbock. The Yates Flooring Center chat line is open. Go to doublet973.com for that of the mobile app. The Visual Edge IT hotline is open too at 806-771-0973. Let's see. Gordo's got a message here to us. He says, "Dear Chuck, how are you? I am fine." Gordo's our frequent pen pal, Jamie.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
If you could pick up the Kachuk brothers in NIL, where would you play them on the field? I think Brady Kachuk at linebacker and Matthew at tight end / wide receiver. I'm not familiar with these gentlemen. He's more long and rangy, similar to Jason Morrow. Okay, well.
Okay.
Oh, apparently they're hockey players.
Hockey players?
Yeah. I've never seen a more blank and patriotic start to any sporting event. The U.S. hockey team got booed in their first game in Montreal, and they had a text thread going and even told Team Canada, it's on them if their fans booed during the national anthem. Thank you for the sports that you give us. Gordo. P.S. Tell Jamie that Gordo says hello.
Sup, Gordo?
Yeah, I've not watched any of the Four Nations stuff either.
Yeah, I know the hockey folks are excited about it. I think anytime you have country versus country, that's really cool, and that brings some excitement or whatever. I'm not really a hockey guy, so I have not gotten.
I have respect for it. I'm with you. I'm just not a big hockey guy. I
have a respect for a lot of things that I don't pay attention to, though.
Yeah, but I mean,
like the abilities and the skills, or all those things.
Like, I mean, doctors and stuff like that, it goes without saying, right?
Yeah.
Scientists and people that figure stuff out, those people have great respect for it.
I think golfers are amazing what they can do. The way that they can manipulate a shot and, make it go around a tree and then hook back and treat it like a boomerang and all this kind of thing.
Trick shots and, being able to...
Yeah, I know I'm being a little sarcastic here, but I think that they're amazing with what they do. Mm-hmm. I'm not a big fan of golf. I don't watch a lot of golf, but I'm always super impressed when I watch them. Ludwig's
going to get me... He's kind of... I didn't watch any of the golf this weekend. Saturday was just... it was just a really, really busy day. I mean, it was packed to the gills for us, or for me. I mean, pancake festival and shoot around and basketball game, and then we went to Les Mis on Saturday night. And
so many hands to shake, Jamie. He didn't know what to do anymore.
What exactly is your role at shoot around?
To watch, and then we do our pregame interview.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and then I do talk. I do try to get some insight. And
he was shaking so many hands, he had to use his left hand.
And then I did happen to meet some people that were in town to kind of take a look at things while they were coming into the arena.
Chuck, the word you're looking for is kibitzing.
Kibitzing. I've been.
You were busy having a good time kibitzing.
And then I always come up with a number, and I share my number with people to see if I'm thinking right. Mm-hmm. Like various coaches and support staff and things like that. Okay, I'm thinking, here's my number. And
I wish there was a way to count the words without actually counting, okay? Like if you could hook something to your ear, right, that would count the number of words. And we would say that the number of words that Chuck says to the Lady Raider coaching staff on one day trip compared to the number of words I say to the Texas Tech baseball coaching staff in a 4-day trip.
I would say in a full year, I'd probably exceed.
See if he outdoes me in one day that I do in 4 days.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Well, you got to figure.
But I would tell you that Mike Gustafson is a lot more like you.
Yeah,
so I think
right.
I think Gus kibitzes with the coaching staff a lot more than I do.
Yeah, I mean, but you're just not a kibitzer. We know that.
He's letting the players be the players. The thing that Jamie though gets the advantage of in the 4-day event though is that he's got to talk to somebody in baseball to find out when the meals are. So that's 4 separate conversations that he might only say 4 words.
Yeah.
But that's 16 words right there that Chuck would make that just one sentence. But
yeah. I don't know.
Wow, that's pretty rich coming from you.
I don't always eat with the team, but I do have to do pregame interviews.
Yeah.
And I'm including those in the kibitzing that Coach Tadlock and I do. So
Was he?
We had an awesome conversation before Friday's game.
Did Jeff or I come up at all?
No.
He didn't ask how we were doing?
No.
He didn't? That's disappointing.
Does Coach Gerlich ask about Jeff and I?
Actually,
no, she does not.
Actually,
somebody else, Chuck.
Actually, we had a little bit of a conversation because they were talking about a player, and I said, "Oh, Jamie's daughter plays for Friendship," and she's like, "Oh, really? What?" And then I told her about how you guys shoot free throws together and threes, and she's like, "Oh, that's really cool." She was very complimentary of you.
Okay, great.
And
That's
you know
very nice of her.
how I know that she doesn't know who we are? Because Jamie Lent's daughter has his last name, and she went, "Oh, the Lent kid." So you just like shattered dreams for
or
Jamie.
that she's not a good enough kid, that she's not on the radar, a good enough player that she's not on the radar, Jeff.
Bobby Hot Dog says this. I maybe this should be my next business card. Chuck Heinz, Mingler Extraordinaire.
Ooh, I like it.
I mean,
I like it.
I did see a large number of people this weekend at the various events that I was at. So,
well, it's better to see a large number of people than a number of large people.
No, really extraordinarily large people that I saw this weekend, Jamie. Just an extraordinarily number of people. Okay. 8:08 this morning.
A number of extraordinary people that he saw this weekend.
Yeah.
And they saw him, too.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Speaking of extraordinary.
Yeah. We'll have High School Fan Zone on the air for you tonight. Coaches from Coronado, Estacado, Lubbock High, and Monterey will come visit. We'll also have Lady Raider basketball with Krista Gerlich tonight. The ladies will play this week at home against Cincinnati on Wednesday night. We'll have it for you at 5:30. The tip at 6 on 107.7, the Red Dirt Rebel. And then they travel this weekend. They'll play at UCF on Saturday, and then a week from tomorrow in Tucson against Arizona. The Tech men are on the road tomorrow at TCU. That's a 7 o'clock tip time, 6 o'clock broadcast time here on Double T 97.3. Let's see. Wow, this is not very complimentary. Jamie is a true sports reporter and color man, and Chuck Heinz is a jock sniffer. Not really. That wasn't very,
I have never seen him sniff a jock.
That was not very complimentary, but
I have seen Chuck Heinz do a lot of crazy things, but I've never seen him do that.
We've got we've got all kinds that listen this morning. How many pancakes did I eat, Paul? I think I ate 4.
Okay, it sounds like a good Saturday morning.
4 pancakes and no chocolate milk. That was disappointing.
This has been the Morning Drive Podcast, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Check out our library of Double T 97.3 podcasts at doublet97.3.com.